Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we're here for another Facebook Live Wednesday Wealth. Once again, we never cease to amaze you. We have a great show tonight. Like I said, the cavalry is not coming. The creek is rose. The levee is giving way. It's up to us to save us. We got to start betting on ourselves. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have been watching the news, you have seen that the stock market is going crazy. We're seeing that all the violence that's going on in our communities, but we want to have a positive relationship with our community here. If you want to look at something positive, go tag somebody, let somebody know, hey, we got a show that's going to be talking about generational wealth. We're going to be talking about how we can get to the bag, how we can create our own banks for ourselves, with ourselves, by people that look like us, act like us, talk like us. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I always say the cavalry is not coming. The creek is rose, the levee is giving way. It's up to us. We have a great speaker tonight. We're going to be able to pick his brains. He had been trying to get in contact with me, the president of the company, Mariah. She spoke highly of him, and they came and bum rushed me. And I said, hey, I got to have this dude on the show. So without any further ado, we're going to talk about how we can create generational wealth through a business, and he's doing it in our community. Once again, we don't have to go outside of our community in order to have success. We can look from within and get everything we need right here. This is a already established millionaire entrepreneur. Without any further ado, Eric, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. A pleasure and an honor to be here with you today, Cepeda.
All right. So, Eric, let's get right into it. Tell me this. Tell me a little bit about you, a little bit about your company, because I know I'm ready to get bombarded with a lot of questions. But I want to give you an opportunity to talk to us a little bit about what you do, a little bit about who you are, a little bit about your company.
Awesome. So yeah, hey, again, I'm humbled. Thank you for having me on tonight. Eric Moore. I'm originally, from Chicago, Illinois.
Chicago, Chi-Town.
But by the way of Michigan. For the last 20 years, I've resided in Indianapolis, Indiana, where me and my wife, we have 11 kids, have built, our home.
You said 11, right?
11.
11. Lucky 11. You got a football team.
Yeah.
You got a football team. 12.
I got a basketball team with 6 on the bench. Big to do it. So yeah, me and my wife has been here. We've built, quite a few successful businesses. So, our main thing over the last 20 years, we have been really involved in real estate and real estate development on a very high level. I've owned a mortgage company, insurance company, real estate company. We've owned restaurants, and we own a lot of Airbnb. So, the saying that the average millionaire has 6 to 7 streams of income, I took that to heart.
Wow.
I became a serial entrepreneur, in order to get myself there. And then just along the way, I wanted to, how many people could I help, right? Because that's what it, begins to become about. How many people can I help on this journey, get to where I'm at, or at least get to their dream of where they want to be? And so, along that path, I met Mariah, and along that path, I was introduced to you. So,
all right. Good people. Hey, as they say, the cavalry ain't coming. I might have to change my slogan. I go around Eric Moore, the cavalry might be coming. Got a lot of shots at it. But once again, thank you, Eric, for coming on the show. We were very impressed when we did the initial interview. Eric, tell me this. How was you able to get started? What line of work were you in? What do you do now? What did you do to make your first million?
Man, that's a great question. So, 22 years ago, I was actually working in corporate America. I was traveling the country, being promoted. I was a VP, regional VP, and 9/11 hit. When 9/11 hit, I got stuck out in Omaha, Nebraska, and couldn't get home. I had kind of started dabbling in real estate. I grew up in a family. My grandmother in Chicago had every business you can think of. She had game rooms, she had coffee shops, she had.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we apologize for the inconvenience, but I guess there was okay, we got you back. Eric, can you hear me? Was it, can you hear me, Eric? Eric, can you hear me? Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we apologize for the inconvenience, but we want to hear what Eric has to say because I guarantee he has some good information for us to have. So, yes, we have Larita Jeffers. Can you hear me, Eric? One of the things about Eric and his businesses, until he gets back on, I'm going to kind of intercede for him. Until Eric and his businesses, what he was able to do is establish businesses that was kind of like in the network marketing line of work. Eric, can you hear me now? Eric, can you hear me? Well, he kind of set up the network.
Just having some technical difficulties.
All right. I
was okay. We're going to get this together in a minute.
All right. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, we apologize for the inconvenience. We might go a little bit over tonight because we want to give Eric ample time to make sure that he is able to educate us on how to become a millionaire. How did he become a millionaire? And during these times of people starting up businesses, we want to know exactly what's out there, what we need to do in order to get ahead. So, Eric, can you hear me? Have you worked through it yet? Okay, Eric, can you hear me? Eric, can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
Okay, you can't hear me at all? Can you hear me, Eric? Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we apologize for the inconvenience. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to shut it down and then we're going to come back on.
All right, so Cepeda, they can hear me. I got a couple people on. They can hear me. They can see me and they can hear me. I just can't hear you.
Okay.
KP, can you hear Cepeda speaking?
So we got people on. So tell everybody that.
So they can, I cannot.
Okay. What we're going to do is log out and go back in. Hey, Eric, can you hear me now? Hey, Eric, can you hear me now? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we apologize. We're trying to get through the difficulties here.
Cepeda. I can hear you. No, I can't. I can hear you. I can hear you through the phone, me and you talking, but not through the streaming. No, I just put those in now so I wouldn't have to echo if you called. All right, let's go.
Okay, so we got through the technical difficulties. He's talking to me on my cell phone so he can hear me. Can you hear me now, Eric?
Oh, I can hear you clear.
Perfect. So, Eric, you was talking to us about how you became a millionaire. What are some of the things that you did, and how did you make your first million?
Yeah, so, long story short, after leaving corporate America, I got stuck at 9/11 and had to make a decision. I had been in corporate America for a few years, and I had actually accumulated some 401k. I did a little investing at the time in the stock market. And so what I decided to do was leave corporate America. And as you always say, I decided to bet on myself.
Okay.
So I came back I got home after 9/11. I turned in my keys and gave them the car back and gave them my notice. And I literally took my 401k and my stock options that I had with the company, and I invested in myself. I went and purchased properties. And from those properties, those rental properties that I had, I sold a couple properties through the money I had. And then I went and started my own mortgage company. So I started Rising Financial Services.
Okay.
And so what I understood was, to have control was the key. And so I didn't want to be reliant on just one source of income or anyone else. So I started Rising Financial Services. And how that conglomerate happened was I had a real estate development company.
Okay.
I had realtors. I was a realtor. I was a mortgage broker as well as an insurance broker. So it grew. I ended up having 2 mortgage companies with over 27 loan offices. I had an insurance broker agency. I had a real estate agency, and then I had my property development company, all up under Rising Financial Services. So Rising Mortgage, Rising Insurance, Rising Realty, and More Property Group.
Wow.
And so what I would do was I would buy a home, do More Property Group. We would rehab it, fix it up. And then my realty group would list it to sell. When we sold the home to the buyer, we would provide them with insurance.
Wow.
Right? And so we would get the mortgage, we'd get the insurance, we'd get the realty, and we sold them the home. So you're familiar with mortgage. You can imagine at the closing office, there'll be a thick stack of disclosures that our buyers would have to sign because we had every arm of every transaction. Right. So that grew and we became very successful. And then, of course, as you know, in 2008, everyone know what happened.
Yeah.
The market crashed, right? And so when the market crashed, this is one of those situations where you have to make a decision. And I always tell people you have to be prepared and ready to spend on a dime. And the market crashed, they stopped giving loans for a while. Builders stopped building, and bam, here we go. I had to make a decision, right? So we took what we had amassed, closed down the mortgage company, closed down the insurance company. What was left was to start buying more property. Because what you have to understand about real estate is whether the market is up or the market is down, someone is always winning in real estate. You have to decide where you're going to be at on that side of the street. And so we bet on ourselves again. We put everything into real estate, buying land, right, which is key. Buying land, buying homes, right, preparing and ready for the market to turn again. Oh. And so what happened was in the interim, if you understand the market of the United States, the East Coast and the West Coast is where everything starts at, and then it carries itself into the Midwest. And so if you watch a real estate bubble, I want you guys to pay attention to this. If you're in real estate, the real estate bubbles always explode or implode on the East Coast or on the West Coast. When you in middle America, when you're in the Midwest, we are what I call a par market, which means we never go too high and we never go too low. But we follow the direction of the East Coast or the West Coast when it comes to real estate. So
hold
you
on
begin
now.
to watch.
Hold on now.
I can hear you, Cepeda.
I said, hold on now, because I want to give our listeners a chance to. Did you guys catch what he said? So when everybody's telling everybody, get out of the market, get out of the market. Hold up. He's telling us way we kind of dictate that is either the West Coast or the East Coast. He's giving y'all some nuggets now. If y'all are looking to have generational wealth for you and your kids. Now, this man is actually doing it. He got 11 of them. So he got to have a lot of generational wealth. So once again, he's telling us how we can become financially wealthy. You pulled your money out of your 401k, right?
Absolutely.
You bet on yourself. So those who think that there's security in their 401ks, that's a whole nother class. But I'll hit that next week or the week after because I want to talk about that. But I'm glad that you brought that up. But you chose to bet on yourself. Did you clean out your whole 401k or did you just do partial?
No, I cleaned it out.
Oh, you went all in. All in.
I went all in.
So once again, that's a trait. If you're gonna do it, let's do it. And if you're not, don't have no parachutes. You can't be straddling the fence.
That's so key, right? A lot of times, we want to just in case. Well, the just in case, if you watch the last 3 or 4 months, a lot of people lost hundreds of $1,000s in their 401k because the stock market controls it. Again, I wanted to be in control, right? The cavalry wasn't coming. I was the cavalry.
Yeah, the cavalry wasn't coming, brother. The creek on rise, and the levee
Right.
is going to give way, and it better be up to you to save you.
And so what happened was I took the money I had and I went to the West Coast because whenever real estate begins to rise, it's going to happen on the West Coast or the East Coast.
Wow,
Bubbles,
wow.
right? So I went to the West Coast with some friends, made some investments.
So
Those
now
investments,
did you do it by yourself? When you said with friends today, y'all buy real estate, right?
absolutely,
Okay.
right?
So are you guys still in business together today?
Absolutely.
All right, all right. So once again, he partnered with some people that was with him. So it's important for us to network, right? So you said network.
Absolutely.
So networking
So
is important.
networking is key in every level of business. Networking is the key. I tell people this all the time. It's not about what you're selling or what you're buying. It's the person that you decide to do life with, who you choose to do business with. But the relationship that you build, right, and you network through, inspect the fruits, and then build from there. So I went to California, made some investment deals in real estate, and made my first million.
Wow. How long did it take you?
About 6 months.
6 months. Did you guys say it's not going to take long if you do it the right way? Do you mind telling us, Eric, how much was your initial investment so people can be like, man, I can't do all of that. He had $1 million already before he got started. Tell me
So you said initial investment when I started or when I got to California?
when you got to California or when you started. Let's start there. When you first started,
7,500.
$7,500.
$7,500.
7,500 bucks. Y'all hear that, ladies and gentlemen? It does not take a million to make a million. It took
No.
$7,500 and a willingness to bet on himself because he understood that the cavalry wasn't coming.
And one side note, Cepeda, if you're listening, your credit is very important.
Wow, credit is the key.
That's a whole nother line. I know that's another topic,
Lie.
but credit is key. And we have to learn how to use leverage, right? So in the beginning, when I left corporate America, I pulled the little money I had out of my 401k because I was 28 years old.
28, 29, he was a millionaire, y'all. So he just
Okay.
let us know when he made his first million.
I was 28 when I left. So what happens is this. You have to be willing to step past your fear. I had a wife, I had kids, but I decided I had to do what was best for the family and what we building in the future. And sometimes you have to be uncomfortable in your present to walk into your destiny in the future.
Wow. So did y'all hear what he said? Sometimes, well, let me just put it a different way, Eric. Sometimes you got to sacrifice. You got to give
Absolutely.
up some things. You got to give up some things. You got to change the things that you like to do. You might have to can't do them because if you're going to get to where you want to get, you got to be focused. We often look at these commercials, Eric, when you say we want to be like Mike, and I use this analogy all the time. We all want to be like Mike, right? But that commercial is kind of misleading because Mike put in a whole lot of hours in the gym where everybody else was out doing other things. Mike was
Absolutely.
in that gym. So if you really want to be like Mike, go to that gym and start working out like Mike started working out, even though he was God giving him some talent to be tall and big and competitive, but he had to work it. And so that's what I think what we got to do in our communities with our businesses. We want to be successful, but we got to work it.
So let's fast forward. So I always talk about this, Cepeda. What do you do once you have a little money? Because what
Wow.
I found is this. Most of the time, you go to people's Instagram and they're balling out of control.
Mm-hmm.
They buying watches and cars and jewelry, right? And they out partying and impressing people because the money that someone else is paying them, or even that they've accumulated, they haven't been taught what to do with it, right?
Okay.
They haven't partnered with the right people.
Okay.
So as I progressed through my career and we was very successful, I began to meet other people through networking, right?
Wow.
Right, because at some point I decided I don't always want to do real estate,
Okay.
right? And because my strategy, and there's a lot of different strategies, my strategy was to buy and sell, build and sell. I later moved into buying Airbnbs, right? I did not want to be a landlord. Can't deal with the headaches. Some
Okay.
people can use that as a strategy, and I teach that strategy, just one I don't use personally.
Okay.
So it came to a point to where I formed with a partner of mine a company or a philosophy called the Lot Group.
The lot.
Legacy,
Okay.
legacy, ownership, and community. Right. Let me break it down for you. Legacy, right? None of us was born with a silver spoon. So we have to create something that we can leave for our babies, right? And it got to be something that's big enough that they can leave to their babies, right?
Wow.
We hear about it, but how do you do it?
So you're saying that a part of what you taught your people, you created this company. It's called a lot group, and you want to train people on how they can train their family members and their kids on how to be financially wealthy. Correct?
Correct.
Okay.
So the first part is the legacy, which includes who you do life with. Second part is ownership. We have a belief in we want to own everything we touch, right? Businesses, land. I love to travel. So when I travel, I want to own where I travel. Now, how does that come together to create legacy? It takes two things to build a legacy. It takes ownership and assets, and it takes wealth. Not riches, but wealth. Riches come and go, right? Now, how do I move to creating assets and wealth? I do it through my community. We are the only community that our dollar only goes to our community one time. Other ethnicity groups, their dollar goes through their community three, four, five, six, seven times. Right?
Okay.
So we have to change the narrative. Because
Okay.
everything I need, I should be able to find within my community of people I know, I like, and I trust. And so the community comes together,
So hold
and
up.
then we
You,
go
you
ahead.
got you got to know them. See, I want y'all to take notes now because this is an actual millionaire that I'm bringing on the show. And remember, you heard it here first. What are the three things you said? You got to know them,
Like them
you got to like them,
and trust them.
and you got to trust them. If one of those are not right, you say what?
You
Can't do
you
it.
you bail, can't do it.
Yep.
And real quick, Cepeda, let me just give you a quick scenario. I have a very good friend. He happens to be on listening. He had went to a real estate seminar. The guys on stage said, "If you want me to work with you, pay me $50,000. This is not to buy property. This is not to get into a deal. This is just to work with me. Give me 50,000. I'm gonna teach you what I do." Because of our network, my friend made a phone call to me. Now he wasn't my friend at the time; we was just associates. But I was in his network. So he called me. He said, "Eric, I heard you do real estate at a very high level." Listen, he heard I do real estate. I said, "Yes, I do." He said, "Can I come down and spend some time with you and see what you do?" He came down to Indianapolis from Chicago. So the first thing was he made the connection. He
Yep.
asked. A lot of us are afraid to ask. The second thing he did was he came, right? Inspect what you expect.
Okay.
Right? Just because someone say they have something and doing something, you don't give money. So
Okay.
he came down to inspect the fruit. He went to houses with me. He seen deals being done. He seen employees. He talked to people. He found out that what he heard matched what he saw.
Okay.
Then he made an investment.
Wow. 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 So once again, you had to be doing it in order for that investment to come. You wasn't saying,
Exactly.
"Hey, all because we're brothers and we trying to help out." You had to show or be able to show that you can perform for you to be able to have success with that investor, correct?
Right. And so here's the thing. if you're listening, don't be quick to go give your money to anyone. Go invest, check the tree, make sure it's bearing the fruits. Everyone got a way to get rich and make money. And then we wonder why we don't trust each other because we didn't inspect the fruit first before we gave our money.
Okay. Okay.
Which leads to the next phase of my life. I had built the real estate company. I was very successful. I had restaurants in Carmel, Indiana, Indianapolis, Indiana, South Beach. I was I had Airbnbs from Florida, Atlanta, Michigan, Indiana. That part I had structured and was doing well. But what was the next evolution? Right? Because we got to continue to grow.
Oh
So
yeah.
my next evolution was through a group of people that's a part of this lot group. I moved into network marketing.
Okay.
Okay. This is where you guys got to pay attention because I had to find something that I was going to help my kids. I was going to help other people that the barrier to entry was very low. It didn't take a lot of education, a willingness to learn, be coachable, and teachable. And so I locked in with a group of other millionaires where they began to teach me of the business that I wasn't in, but that would provide me with a residual income. So put that down. The next thing is you have to find a way, as Warren Buffett said, if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you'll work till you die.
Wow.
So making money, keeping money that's going to be generational has to continue to build. Michael Jackson was the only billionaire to this day to make $1 billion from his grave. So I always ask people, where did the money go? He did
Okay.
something in 1980 that's paying his kids today and their
Wow.
kids. So I'm not a singer. I'm not a rapper. I needed another way that can produce a large amount of residual income that I can then pass on to my kids.
Okay.
The only thing I found was network marketing.
Okay. So once again, let's talk about this now. So he's given us some good information, and correct me if I'm wrong. You're telling us that the first thing you had to do was understand that you set up these other businesses and you adjusted. And one of the things, ladies and gentlemen, we got to constantly be evolving when we're talking about being an entrepreneur. Everybody want to work for themselves, and that's all great. But you got to evolve, and you got to keep evolving because, like you said, even when you come into the money, you still have to be able to know how to disperse that money and make it work for you. You know, a lot of times we have it, but we don't know what to do with it. You know, and like you said, credit is king in nowadays because back in the day, we used to say, cash is king. Now, you would be surprised on how many people say, well, I got the cash. Well, when the money is this cheap, cash ain't king. Credit
That's
is.
right.
When the money is this cheap, that only cash become king when the credit is expensive. That's when cash become king. But when the money is this inexpensive, it's not king. So you said network marketing was the key venue to get you out of or to keep you out of the rat race.
Right. So you're familiar with a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad?
Yes, I am.
Robert Kiyosaki. So there's this cash flow quadrant, and it talks about, and this is important for the listeners, of understanding where you at on the cash flow quadrant. Because I'm sure Cepeda, you and me and our kids had the same teacher, probably the same parents. They said, go to school, good grades, so you can get a job, so you can work 40 years and retire on 40% of pay. I just didn't want to sign up for that. Because when you look at the leverage of life, the average, I'll put it this way, 5% of all the world's wealth is earned by 95% of people. 95% of all the world's wealth is earned by 5% of people.
Wow. That's crazy. That's
Right?
crazy. Yes.
So, who is the 95%? Those are employees and self-employed people. So, because when you're employed, you're trading your valuable time for $1. So
Okay.
you're being leveraged. But then you move and you say, well, I'm self-employed. I own my own business. What you have to understand is you now own a job, right? Because if you're not there, you don't get paid.
You say that again.
What I understand is I had to move to the other side of the quadrant where I could begin to use leverage to create wealth.
So
In
what type
other
of
words,
what type of leverage did you use? When you say leverage, a lot of people talk about that. What leverage did you use?
so when I talk about this leverage, I'm talking about people leverage.
Okay.
Okay. Because think about this. If you're a barber, you only get paid when you cut hair in the chair.
Okay.
Leverage comes when I own the barbershop. I put 10 barbers in there. Now my check ain't dependent on me standing there cutting hair all day. I got 10 people cutting.
All right.
Leverage. So
Yeah.
now I ask this question all the time. Would you rather make $1,000 off your effort or $1,000 off somebody else?
Much rather make $1,000 off somebody else's.
Right. So the beautiful thing in the concept about network marketing is you work together, right? And so you're helping each other build wealth that turns into a residual income, right? I have friends in their 20s and 30s making what I'm making and what I've made in my 40s.
Okay. So let me ask some questions here. So when you say your network marketing, right?
Yes.
So my question is, what a lot of people say network marketing is a scam, it's a pyramid scam, all of those things. Talk to us a little bit about how you can utilize network marketing and be safe and break down the stigma that goes with it.
That is a great question. So when I got into network marketing, it wasn't because I need the money. So if I was going to do something, it wasn't going to be about the product or the service. It was about the people. I had to meet the owner,
Okay.
right? I had to get involved with people I know, I like, and I trust.
I
And it had
know
to be
I trust.
it's going to always come back. And it had to be something with a foundation of success with integrity, which
Okay.
ties back to the owner. So I always say, who you doing business with? Who are you locking arms with? I chose to lock arms with a group of people that was very well established, had a foundation of integrity, right? And through the people I knew, I like, and I trust, I followed them,
Okay. Okay.
right? So let's talk about the scam part. Let's talk about the pyramid. You said pyramid, so let's talk about pyramid. I
All right.
love that. Number one, I found most people does not even know what the definition of a pyramid scheme is.
Wow.
Right?
So
Right.
tell us
So what is it?
what is it?
It's the exchange of money without any good or service being provided. That's number one. Number two, when you look at the word pyramid, I just want you to think about where you work. Right? In a pyramid, the hierarchy of a pyramid, you can never make more money than a CEO. Let's not even go that high. You can never make more money than your manager or your
Wow.
supervisor. Correct?
That's what they say.
Unless you take their position. But as long as I'm a cashier, I'm not making more than a manager.
Okay.
As long as I'm a manager, I'm not making more than a district manager. As long as I'm a district manager, I'm not making more than a VP. And as long as I'm the VP, I'm never making more than a CEO. There's a
Wow.
hierarchy to this. That's the pyramid.
He's giving us to us the way we need to go. So when you going into these companies, guess what's happening?
You're being leveraged.
You're being leveraged. And so once again, that's important that we understand when we're starting to go into business and we have good intentions, Eric. A lot of us have good intentions when we go into business. We need to understand that we cannot no longer say I like you and it's a great idea. We got to do our due diligence, right?
Correct. And
So
think about this.
what were some of the downfalls of being an entrepreneur?
Glad you asked. Number one, time. Right? When you're an entrepreneur and you're self-employed, you have to spend a lot of your time. I met a gentleman. His name is Eric, by the way,
Okay.
and he was making what I was making or more a year, and he was spending a tenth of the time because he
Okay.
was involved in network marketing, and I was involved in the traditional business. Now, let me make this very clear. When I suggest people get into network marketing, this is a part time that you do on the side that you build, right? Don't nobody go out here and quit their day job, right? You build to this. It's an addition to that one day, if you choose, you walk away from what you do because you set yourself in a situation that you don't need to work,
Okay.
right? Because there's a difference between going to work because you have to
And
and
go.
going to work because you want to.
So once again, we're talking about those streams of income. And so
Absolutely.
sometimes, yeah, I hear it all the time, Eric. Man, I want to be in business for myself. And then they go out, they quit their job, and then guess what happens? They don't have that income that they used to have. One of the things that I found is that you got to get educated on the market that you're going to be doing. If you're selling lemonades, you need to see what lemonades cost a year ago, or what type of cups you're going to put your lemonades in, and do a projection and be honest for the next 3 to 6 months. So
Think
that
about this, Cepeda.
uh-huh.
In America, any new business in their first 5 years normally don't make money.
What? They clapping on that one. So once again, Calvary's not coming. So you want to make money. So you got to understand that it's an investment. It's not a get rich quick scheme. It's Joe Baby.
Absolutely. So I'm glad you said that because we'll go out and we'll spend $60,000 to open up a barbershop, put all the equipment in there, and pray we get some good barbers and beauticians to come in our shop.
Okay.
Now, how many heads do I have to cut to break even?
Wow. That's if you cut hair.
Right. I open up restaurants. It cost me between $150 to $200,000 to open up each one of my restaurants, and after 7 years, I just broke even.
Wow. Wow.
Time, money, broke even, got rid of them.
Once you got done, okay. So let's talk about this. So, what is some of the people should you surround yourself with when you're trying to be an entrepreneur, Eric?
Number one, find you a mentor.
Find you a
Find
mentor.
someone who has been successful in an area that you want to be successful in.
Okay.
When you find that person, the most important thing, inspect the fruit.
Okay.
Right? I give you an example. Just because someone owns a McDonald's and you want to own a McDonald's does not mean they're successful. Go inspect the fruit.
So,
Right?
what should you look for? Should you look for a balance sheet? Should you look what should you look for?
So, relationship is key because you're not going to walk into any mentor and say, "Show me what you make. Show me your bank account." Right? So the relationship is key.
They'll try it. They'll try it.
They'll try it. But I'm looking for a mentor. He's not looking for me.
Okay.
Right? Cepeda, I'm coming to you. I'm asking you to be my mentor. So what I'm gonna do is number one, I'm gonna spend time. I'm gonna be coachable. I'm gonna be teachable. Right? After spending time, I'm gonna inspect what you're doing, how you're doing it, basically how you moving, the
Okay.
people you surrounding yourself with.
Uh-huh.
Right? So if you tell me you're a CEO of this big company, but every time I see you, you at Walmart workers, I must be a little suspect.
Well, hopefully you kind of see how boss I am.
I was at your office. I was at your office.
I say you was at the office and you saw how heavy my president was. You see
Yes,
how
sir.
heavy.
Yes, sir. Right?
so,
Inspect
so,
the fruit.
so one of the things that a lot of times when we're going into entrepreneurship is that we got to have a good time. You got to find fun.
Have fun.
You
Gotta
got
have
to
fun.
have fun in what you're doing. So let me ask the next question, Eric. Once you made your first million, so I want our members to understand that we have millionaires in our own community. So when you made your first million, how did you feel when that hit your account?
It was surreal. I'm gonna be real. It was, I was the first one in my family to go to college, and then to make that kind of money, you couldn't tell me nothing.
So once again, was that a mistake?
Yeah, I had to humble myself.
How did you humble yourself?
My mom helped a lot with that.
Oh, yeah, mom. Well, okay, hold on now.
Right?
We're talking about generational wealth. So that's a key point. Even though we was laughing, but that's a key point. Once he made his first million, ladies and gentlemen, his mom was the one who came and humbled. How did she humble you?
That was some personal conversations because black mamas ain't no joke.
Mm-hmm.
Negro, get your life together.
Wow.
Right?
So you were making mistakes, but you was making money that covered
Right.
mistakes.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
So this is
I didn't have a mentor.
So how important is having a mentor?
If you're going to be successful long term, it's the most important. I still have mentors today. My goal, Cepeda, is never to be the smartest in the room. It's never be the wealthiest in the room. I want to be the one that's coachable, that's teachable around other successful people so I can learn from them and then apply it to what I'm doing.
Okay.
Right? The reason why I love network marketing and the company I chose, there's 1,000 companies out there. I chose a particular company. It's called Secret. Number one, because of the people, the owner. So pay listen to this. How many billionaires, let's just be real, how many billionaires do you know? Or anybody on this call? Who knows a billionaire? Second question.
Uh-huh.
How many of them have invited you to their house? Not just you, Cepeda, I'm just for the listeners. Right? You guys work for CEOs, you guys work for these companies, and you don't even know who the CEO is.
Wow. And you're committed.
And you're giving them your blood, sweat, and tears every day, 40, 60, 80 hours a week. In this particular company, I went and inspected the fruit. Not only did my wife and I, family members and friends, get invited to his house. When we got there, here was the impressive part. It was $1 million house, of course.
Okay.
But he didn't just own that house. He owned all the houses in the cul-de-sac. That impressed me. What impressed me was mama lived here, uncle lived here, sister lived here, in-laws live here.
Wow. So we ain't doing the Rick Ross. He's doing the real Rick Ross. He buying up the block.
Buying up the block. And his family is in the block.
Wow. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, the Calvary's not coming. He's giving us examples on how we can create generational wealth for ourselves. Now, we might not be buying $1 million house, right? But we can go buy some $30,000 houses, $50,000 houses in our own community. And guess what? We can buy them, fix them up, and sell them to who? Our own people. Wow.
So let me give you some real life situation. Let me tell you. So when I'm at his house, Cepeda, there was no butlers. There was no maids. There was a buffet of food that was amazing. And you know who prepared the food? His family. You know who served us the food?
His family.
I had a billionaire bring me my plate of food and then sit next to me and talk. His family, millionaires, serve in this room because they believe servitude starts at the top and goes down.
Wow.
That's the kind of person I want to be in business with. That's the kind of company, if I'm being attached, I'm going to be attached to.
Eric, so you're not concerned about me having a bling bling?
Not at all.
No, you're not concerned. Okay. What about if I have the latest cars that look like a bird when the what's the name comes up?
Yeah, it tells me you're in debt.
Okay, so you that ain't a prerequisite.
No.
Okay, what about? I know what it is, Eric. You want me to live beside you. You want me to have a house too, don't you?
I really do. I want to help you get there if that's what you want, but that's not a prerequisite.
What? So, I ain't got to do none of that.
You ain't got to do none of that.
All I got to do is come, be a brother, come humble myself, and say, hey, Eric, I'm struggling in this area. Let's work together, and we can get it going cracking.
Remember I told you in the LOC community, legacy, ownership, and then the community?
Uh-huh.
Okay, how do we build generational wealth?
Tell us how.
Take notes. Take notes.
Take notes.
Number one, I don't care how old you are. You need to become the bank for your family.
What? How do we do that now, Eric?
Great question. So remember I told you credit is king? Let's say you don't have a lot of money, right?
Uh-huh.
First of all, own your home
Okay.
and focus on owning it, not having a mortgage on it.
Okay.
Second of all, you have kids. It's
Yep.
time for them to buy a car. You buy the car. They buy the car from you, not from the bank.
Okay.
They want their first home. You buy the home. You become the mortgage company. They pay you, which stays in the family that you control. They're not taking their money outside. Now, how do you get there? This is why I love the industry of network marketing. In the last 6 years, I've seen a lot of us, Cepeda, make millions. No, I mean millions. And then when COVID happened, they were so busy balling out, blinging on Facebook and Instagram, they had nothing to show for it. They hadn't built anything, and their babies didn't have anything.
What? Man.
The average family can't save 10%. If they did, we have a whole bunch of little banks running around.
So
It doesn't take a lot.
There's a reason why there's no commercial hotels downtown Indianapolis that's ran by us, look like us, being like us.
Absolutely.
The cavalry ain't coming, ladies and gentlemen. Those creekers rose, the levee is giving way. It's up to us. He's telling us, he's laying it out for us. It can't get any better than this. You don't have to have the high profile company. He's saying, hey, listen, don't try to look the part, be the part.
Be the part.
You know,
and here's one thing we have to do. We have to learn how to come together. What do I mean? When I'm in a community of people I know, I like, and I trust. Cepeda only got 5,000. But guess what? My guy John got 5,000. And my homie Tim got 5,000. And Janice got 5,000. We come together, we got 20,000. We can go buy a lot of land.
That's it. That's our 40 acres and a mule right there.
Right? We just did this together. Then, because I don't got good credit, but John do, we own this land together. John can go to the bank and get us a construction loan.
All right.
And so John got approved for a construction loan. He could then call Eric and say, Eric, we need some direction. We own some land. We got a loan. How do we build this?
And that's it. And so
then we go ahead.
That's what we were saying, network marketing. That's what we're saying. We're networking with one another. We got to learn how to trust one another. We got to learn how to build each other up. And we got to learn how to do business with one another in our own community because the resources are there.
They're there. And so what we have to understand is there's always someone who's paved the way. We just got to success leave clues, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Follow the clues. What's the clues? Working together. Learning how to save money so then you can become a bank for your family.
Okay. So
right?
It's okay for them to come and borrow money because we're not going to be pulling credit reports, but we're going to make sure that they pay it back with a little bit of interest.
Right. That's why you do it with your family. I'm doing this for my kids.
All right.
Because I'm teaching them a system that they're going to be able to do for their kids. And it's funny because the way I have this set up, and we get on another call, we'll talk about infinite banking.
Wow. So once again, brothers and sisters, they just come and they bum rush my show. They just come and they just come on my show, brother. I have brothers that come on the show and they run their own businesses. And guess what they do? They be plugging themselves. They say, we coming back on the show, Cepeda. I was like, I got to put them back on. So once again, you say infinite banking. So let's talk about this banking. How does that work? I have a lot of people that say, hey, what are you talking about starting my own bank? Kind of explain. Is it like a Chase or Fifth Third or what is it?
It is. My name is Moore. So it's the Bank of Eric Moore.
Eric Moore. All right. Sound like my
a quick synopsis of what infinite banking is. She's a boss. She's a boss.
She's a boss. Yeah.
She's a boss. So one thing we as a community have to learn how to take advantage of is life insurance.
Life insurance, okay.
But not just having life insurance, but how to use it like the wealthy use it.
Okay.
And just in 2 seconds, do you know if you have the right type of life insurance policy, you can pull from your policy without taking out of your policy?
Yeah, I saw it. You can pull. You can use credit on it.
You can pull from your policy.
Yeah.
I can now use that, watch this, to loan to my daughter to buy a car. She's paying me back. My insurance policy is still gaining value. It's
Wow.
still earning interest.
Wow.
And now I have helped my daughter through my policy. But what happens when I get her a policy and she grow her policy? Now she becomes her own bank. She
Okay.
borrowed from herself.
Is this term life or whole life? What is it?
These are whole life policies.
Whole life policy. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, so when you get these guys in the midnight hour talking about you can become your own bank, know that it is a what type of policy?
Whole life.
Whole life policy. And what does that mean?
So there's a difference between a term policy and a home life policy. So a term policy would be like, you know what? I'm gonna give you $100,000 for 30 years. At the end of the 30 years, you no longer have insurance and you have no cash value.
Okay. Okay.
When you get a whole life policy,
Okay.
number one is for your life,
Wow.
right?
That's crazy.
Whole life. Number two is it gains and earns interest and cash value. Key, it gains cash value. Term insurance is terrible. I'm giving money away. It never comes back unless I die.
Okay.
My whole life policy, I can use it the entire time I'm alive.
Wow. And now is there a premium attached to it every month?
Every month they both gonna have a premium. It's insurance,
Okay.
right? So a term is gonna have a payment, a premium, and your whole life. Here's the difference. If I'm paying $100 for a term that I get nothing back for unless I die, and I'm paying $150 for a whole life that's gaining interest and cash value that I can use while I'm alive, which one makes sense?
Wow. So there you go. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, he's giving us examples of how he can. Remember, Eric talked about how he streamed his income, how he made $1 million. He didn't go out and start buying the Bugattis and stuff like that. He had to build up that income. He said, "No, that ain't happening. That ain't happening."
That ain't happening. That ain't happening. Listen, I'm not going to go out and buy a whole bunch of depreciating assets.
Wow, that's another key. Don't buy depreciating assets. Once again, the cavalry is not coming. You got to educate yourself. You know, financial literacy is key. So let me ask a couple of quick questions before we're ready to get out of here, Eric. I've got some questions for you. I want you to kind of answer them bullet, kind of do a round robin. So one of the things that I've been asked, when you say network marketing, right? Do you guys have a product that is out there that people can purchase when you're doing a network marketing?
So, of course, I chose to partner with a company called Secret, right? This company's been around 20 years, debt-free, $3 billion in sales plus company in 60 countries.
Mm-hmm.
And what they specialize is three things. We show people how to experience the world through travel,
Okay.
live better through nutrition, and look better through skincare products developed from the Dead Sea.
So you know what? I don't think the last one is gonna really affect me that much because I think I look pretty good. I don't think we're gonna have that problem. No, all jokes aside. So when you do the network, how much does it cost to get involved with it? What do I need to do? If we got our buyers, if you guys are looking to get involved and meet with Eric to set up a time where he can kind of pick his brain on how you become a millionaire, here goes his number. I'm flashing his number at the bottom of the screen. We want to make sure that we utilize the people who are in our communities. Eric is a guy who had multiple companies. He had multiple business shut down. He has a wealth of information, and your meetings will be at his house. So once again,
So listen to this, Cepeda.
Uh-huh.
If they're on this call and they call me and say they was on the call and they know you, we'll just talk. You know, I don't sell information. I'm here to help the community. So if you want help in whatever business you're doing, call me. We have a conversation. If you're interested in learning what I do and how I do it, we'll have a conversation. right? And investing with me can cost you anywhere from $500 to $2,000.
Wow.
Right?
Is there a
That's
minimum? Is there a minimum?
Is there what?
A minimum to invest with you.
So we talk about network marketing. The company has a structure. If you're talking about real estate, there is a minimum.
Okay.
Right? Because this is what I found. If you let someone do something for $1, they won't be committed.
Okay. They got to put some
right
skin in the game.
You got to put some skin in the game. Then I know you'll be willing to come get trained, to be coached, to be developed.
Yeah. They ain't wasting your time. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, so the network marketing, that was another thing. Now, do you still do real estate?
Oh, all day, every day.
Every day.
So,
still do real estate.
Right now, I'm building 4 houses in the Found Square area. I have lots on College. If you're in Indianapolis, then I'm getting ready to build townhomes on. So very actively in I just bought a lake house in Michigan. I'm still doing stuff in Florida. So it's fun. Everything I do, I have fun, right? And that's the key. Have fun.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, the Calvary is not coming. The creek is rose. The levee is giving way. It's up to us to save us. He showed us how we can have streams of income. He showed us that you got to get in business with people that you like. You don't have to love them. You just got to like them. Money can make you love a person once you get in business with them, right? He said, I ain't never saw an ugly billionaire. That's what he said. And so you can fall in love with him, even though, that might be an opportunity for you. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, Eric is the guy who if you're looking to get involved in network marketing, you want to know how to do it from a guy who's has a proven track record. His number is floating at the bottom of the screen, right? If there's ever a time that you need a coach, it's now. Because with the volatility of everything that's going on, and remember, you heard it on this show first, there is going to be a backlash with people that's looking for jobs, just like it was the shortage of vaccinations when we was trying to deal with this pandemic. We're going to suffer because people are not going to be financially literate. Credit has to be a part of what you do. So talk to me, Eric, the last 2 or 3 minutes, a little bit about credit and how that is important.
I mean, that's great. So they say cash make the world go round. Credit does. Wealthy people don't use their own cash. They leverage credit. So go ahead. Credit is important because when you establish your credit, it opens doors for you, right? So you want to buy a car. If you got good credit, you pay a lower interest rate. Why am I giving away 20% of my money when I can be getting 0% interest?
Wow.
When I go to buy my house, it's $200,000. Why am I paying 7-8% when I could be paying 2.5 to 3? That 2 to 3% in interest difference on a home over 30 years can cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Oh yes, depending on how expensive your house is.
Exactly. I want to start a business, right? Either I can take all my hard-earned mattress money and put it into it and risk everything I have, or I can go to somebody else's bank, get their money and risk their money.
Oh yeah, let's risk it.
Right? I told you in America, 95% of all new businesses fail in the first 5 years. Okay. If you know that to be a fact, this is just SBA numbers. Why would I want to put my earned cash, 50, 60, 70,000 into a new business thinking I'm just the best at something? And I'm going to use their money. And then I'm going to use
all the time. I tell people all the time, Eric, when I do credit education, we are going to have a class that's coming up next weekend. I always tell people, listen, the Calvary's not coming. Creek is road. You better bet on yourself. We got to evolve and to become financially literate. Back in the day, they said that if you put something between the books, we'll be lost. But now I say you put it on a card, you won't have that. You'll still be lost. If you don't never feel that pain of that money getting out of your account, If you can feel good just swiping that card, it's a false sense of satisfaction.
Yes, it is.
It's a false sense of
That's
satisfaction.
so true.
Yeah. So once again, Eric, let's give us a closing comments, a little bit about your business, how we can get in contact with you, what you provide, and what we can do to utilize your services.
Great. So 2 things. If you're really interested in getting into real estate, DM, direct message me, Eric V. Moore on Facebook, or you have my number there, text me. But what I know is that network marketing has a very low barrier to entry. You can meet a lot of great people and make a lot of great money. Call me, inbox me, we'll have a conversation. I'm very big on personal development, training, coaching, right? So Secret is a wonderful company. I'm just telling you, I've been around 49 years, and the owners and the people I've decided to do life with is amazing, because the relationships in business is important.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely a true statement. Once again, Eric, thank you for coming on the show tonight. Eric, thank you for just taking an hour. Sorry, Facebook fans, for the inconvenience of the technical difficulties. But we always say when we got something good, Eric, guess what? Trouble is always there.
Always.
Always.
Thank you for having me. It was, like I said, I'm honored. I'm humbled that you thought enough to have me on to speak to your audience, and it's been great.
Hey, we're gonna have you come back on this, Eric, and we're gonna talk about the Internet Investment Bank. We're gonna bring you back on because we're going to do a series on finances. So we're gonna have a couple of people on here with you, but we're going to do a whole series on financing and banking and what can we do to get our own bank in our own community. So once
come together.
Eric, thank you for coming and being a part of what we're doing. We're going to bring you back in about 2 weeks or so. You already got your plug in for the banking system. I'll just come in, just do free advertising, just do free stuff, just get outrageous. But we thank you that we can use this platform to do network marketing. I want everybody to know we're going to have a network night in the month of November in about 2 weeks. Free of charge. You need to come out. We're also going to do a credit education class. If you want to get a home, if you're trying to work on your credit, want to know how your credit is affected, what can you do to get credit, and what does your credit score mean? If you want to find out those things, come to our credit education class. You can inbox me. Go to my Facebook, inbox me, make sure that you leave a telephone number or a number that I can reach you at so that we can reach out to you. And if I can't help you, I'm sure Eric can. Eric, thank you for coming. Thank you. We really enjoyed you. We're going to bring you back on the show. Till then, the cavalry is not coming. The creek is rose. The levee is giving way. It's up to us to save us. We got to start betting on ourselves. Till next week, keep betting on yourself. Bet on yourself, ladies and gentlemen. Good night.
Good night.